Okay, guys, so now I am doing a top 20 worst game list for the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 3. These are games that I have played. Okay? I've tried to pick 5 or 6 of each category, probably a little more than that. I should say 5 or 6 in each unit, PlayStation 1, 2, or 3. And number 20 is Far Cry 4. Okay. Now, the reason that I chose this to be in the 20th is because I thought the game had a great story. I thought the game had great graphics. But I thought there were some actually poor executions with some things in Far Cry 4. Like, I think the game was a little too stingy on how many animal bodies you could actually carry, which is pretty sad because the game was actually graphically good. And like I said, it had a good story, and all the areas looked very nice, and the missions were actually nice as well. Alright, so that's number 20, and that's why I give it the 20th spot for the worst out of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now number 19. Dark Cloud 1. Now, I would say the first 5 of these are gonna probably be games I could probably take because they're not that bad, but they're still, again, some of the worst ones. Okay, Dark Cloud 1, I think some of its faults were that, well, it was sort of a little tedious. I mean, there were points where you had to strengthen your weapons, and it took quite a long time. I mean, I'm just not for the kind of, I'm just not really for that. I mean, it's just a little tedious, and I didn't really enjoy the fact that the dark side of areas were just freaking ridiculously hard. I mean, albeit there's some good qualities about Dark Cloud, but it's just, I think it's just not the kind of game I would probably really ever play again. Alright, so we're gonna move on to 18. Okay, Resonance of Fate. Now, Resonance of Fate for the PS3 was actually, in my opinion, quite bad. But it had some redeeming qualities, and I'm not saying that it didn't. I mean, I liked the visuals, and I liked some of the gameplay, and I liked some of the battle. I liked the battle system to an extent. But I think where the game really tries to get you is the bull crap. Okay? And I'll tell you that within the battle system of this game, there is some bull crap. But that doesn't mean that the game is like super duper horrendous. It just means that it's definitely in the bottom 20 of the worst out of PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 for me. And that's, well, you know, not too good. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next. Alright, Tomb Raider for the PS3 again. I know, I'm hitting the PS3, ain't I? Well, here's the thing with this Tomb Raider game. I got to a point in this game where I'm just like, okay, so you want me to hit all these wolves in this area, but wait a minute. I can't kill anything now because I have no arrows left. So what the hell am I supposed to do if I get attacked by more wolves? The game doesn't really set you up properly, which is kind of sad because it really could have been a good quality game. But it just wasn't, because it's not like Uncharted. It's not, it doesn't feed you enough bullets, you know, it doesn't feed you enough arrows to take on the enemies that you need to, or that you should want to. Okay, it just felt a little sloppy. Okay, I mean, I think it was I think it was kind of a good idea for them to try and make a Tomb Raider game like this because the graphics were good and the gameplay was a lot like the Uncharted games, where where there were moments where you were at the edge of your seat, but it just fell flat because of the lack of ammo. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's the truth. And I think it definitely deserves the number 17th spot. Alright, next. Lightning Returns. Okay, look. I want to get this straight with some of you. Okay. When Final Fantasy 13 came out, it was a good title, okay? When Final Fantasy 13-2 came out, it was an okay title, okay? But now we have Lightning Returns. I think, like kind of the Xenosaga series, we're just adding more just so we can make money. It's kind of like the theme I think Square Enix is trying to put. And I'm not saying they're not giving you anything, because they are, but I just don't think this is as much of a quality product as FF13 or even FF13 2. Okay, I mean, you literally play as a standalone character, which is just Lightning herself. So if you die, then that's it. It's game over. It was sort of almost the same like in Final Fantasy 13, because if Lightning died in Final Fantasy 13, the game was over too. So, I guess in that way, it was, I don't know, it was a bit of a challenge, but not my thing, honestly. I just don't think it was, I don't really like Lightning Returns, and it's just kind of sad, because I think it could have been better. Alright, so we're going to move on to, and wait till you see this next picture. Yes. Ready for some eye candy. And by the way, I forget who that guy is, but I think you guys know him. He's an actor. Kind of a joke, though. Okay? And it was kind of a joke made for Dirge of Cerberus, because Dirge of Cerberus does actually have eye candy. Here, let me go back to this photo here. Okay? Okay, maybe not that kind of eye candy, guys, but Dirge of Cerberus, it was an okay story. It was a little, how should I put it? It was a kind of a big story. Because Square Enix, they like kind of making big stories. They're just kind of used to it. But this game kind of fell flat to me a bit, because, it's like, okay, you start at level 1, which is cool, but it's like you start at level 2, well, okay, you get to level 2, and they give you, like, okay, like, 8 defense, but then you get to, like, level 3, and they give you, like, 50 defense. Like, I don't know what the heck was going on there. I don't think they knew what the heck they were doing while trying to make Dirge of Cerberus, especially when it came to, like, the statistical part of the game. It's Dirge, it's not the worst game out there, but it's not the best, and like I said, there is some eye candy, but it's not, in my opinion, worth the game, you gotta kind of ask yourself, is eye candy in a game worth actually playing through the game? It's up to you to decide, but I just don't think eye candy is enough for it to be a good game. I'm sorry. It's gotta have other things besides just eye candy, or it doesn't even have to have eye candy. Look at games like Death Valley Rally, who had a fat woman come out, every time the Roadrunner would outdo the wolf, I shouldn't say it every time, but you know what I mean. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be eye candy to be good, you know? Alright, next one, which is number 14, is San Andreas. Look, I mean, I'm glad that they brought this over to the PS3 because I know there are fans that absolutely love GTA San Andreas, but I don't love GTA San Andreas. It is probably one of my least liked GTA games out there, other than, actually, which, well, maybe another one, I should say, but I'd actually rather say that this is actually the worst one that I have actually played and have actually seen, and mostly because you get to this point in the game where you're flying around and there's one mission that is ridiculously difficult, and I'm just like, no, I'm not playing this game again. So, and that's just the end of this discussion because they practically did what GTA 3 did, and they made some pretty hard missions, and it annoyed the heck out of me, and I was just like, no. I'm not saying there isn't anything redeeming about it, but you know what I mean, guys. I mean, and this is pretty bad. Alright. Next is True Crime Streets of LA. This game is just kind of horrible. I mean, the graphics are not that good. It's pretty bland, and the story and the physics are just, no. I mean, it's not the worst game out there, but it's not the best either. I mean, it's a true crime game. It's what you expect for kind of like a C or D rate game, you know? I mean, not like a triple A, like a C or D rated game. That's kind of sad, huh? Alright, so moving on. Alright, Thousand Arms, okay? Now, Thousand Arms was actually not so great game. I mean, you know, I'll tell you, because my friend actually loved this game. I just did not like this game. So you kind of go around the world, and you get like 3... I can't remember exactly how it was, but I just knew it wasn't something I liked, okay? I mean, you got 3 guys in a battle, and I guess they all take turns or something like that, but it just was not the kind of game for me. And you had to, like, find these girls in the game, and just, no. Maybe for some people it's good, but no. So yeah, it deserves number 12, guys. Alright, so number 11 is Summoner. Alright, so Summoner, this was the first game before Summoner 2. I mean, and when you look at both these games, and you're just kind of like, okay, why? Okay. Well, Summoner 2 is just so much of a better game. I mean, and it's pretty obvious as to why. I mean, it was made later, of course, but it doesn't make Summoner 1, in my opinion, look better, because Summoner 2 is, you know? If you know what I mean. But, you know, and admit it's still a playable game, and I'm sure some people actually do like it out there, but it's just not a game for me. No, I would not play Summoner. And my friend has talked about it before. No. If you like it, you like it. You know? Okay, next is number 10, which is Fast and Furious. Now, there's something that goes along with this, by the way, and I think you guys know who that is. Quicksilver from the X-Men. Okay, now there is a kind of joke because he's also like Fast and Furious as well, but I kind of like Quicksilver over this game. Okay, I do like Quicksilver over this game. Okay, this game, I mean, if you watch my video between the Fast and the Furious, I mean, you'll kind of get the drift, because I did a video review of the Fast and the Furious, and I think, what what was it, Ridge Tracer 64 or something like that. And it's a good detailed video, I mean, to what I know, and as to why I didn't really like the Fast and Furious. So you'll have to watch that video if you want to find out why it's not as good as some people might expect or not expect, you know what I mean? Alright, so we're gonna move on to, and that is Quicksilver again. He is fast and he is furious. Alright, now Diablo 1, again, this is, it's not a poorly made game, not entirely, but okay, let me put it to you guys this way. I mean, I know the game is kind of old and it was made on the PlayStation, which is understandable. But the thing that gets me is that you're so limited to what you can carry inside the cave. And the interesting thing is, I literally got to floor 9 and I just simply gave up. And there was no way in hell I was going to go back and try to take on the rest of the floors, which weren't too many left, actually, because the floors get like lots harder as you go deeper down into the cave. So into, well, it's kind of like deep down into the town, you know, below the town, which I forget the name of, by the way. Alright, so I mean, that's pretty much why I didn't like Diablo 1, is because I think, and I remember I got onslaughted by a bunch of slimes, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, so a bunch of slimes come and attack me and they kill me, and it takes only 3 hits for me to die. I mean, Diablo 1's a hard game, I won't deny it, but it's just not the game for me. I'm sorry, guys, but it's a pretty bad game to me. Grandia Extreme. Grandia Extreme, now this is a good game if you like those kind of games where the enemies level up with you, okay? If you enjoy that kind of feature, you might actually like Grandia. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying that I don't like a challenge, but I guess it all depends, too, on the gameplay. And a lot of other things, too, like the music. Do I enjoy the music, the gameplay, the graphics? You know? And this is just one of those games where if you don't like games like Lunar, the first Lunar, or the enemy levels up with you, you're not going to like this Grandia game. Okay? I mean, unless you just like it for the graphics or something like that, or because it just has the Grandia name in it. But I'm sorry, I just could not get myself to like Grandia. They changed so much of it. It's just, no, I would not, I don't think I would play this Grandia game again. I'm sorry. But it deserves a number 8 spot, and that's just it. Alright. So next is Final Fantasy X-2. This is for the PlayStation 3. And by the way, just so you know, this is for both this one and the number 6 spot. Oh, and by the way, that's another eye candy joke. Probably a very bad one, too. Because, you know, Numamon. Ooh, wait. What was that one? Oh, Numamon. Oh, eye candy. Alright, so, I mean, for both these, and I have to say, Final Fantasy X-2 had exactly what I just told you going for it. Again, eye candy, but you, again, guys, you can't attract, in my opinion, you can't just use eye candy as a way to attract customers to buy your game. Like I said, in my opinion, okay? And I'm not saying the characters, you know, weren't eye candy, but, you know, and they were, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of in between on that whole thing, you know? But the thing really is that I just didn't like FF10-2, okay? FF10 is okay. This is more for FF10-2, okay? Just so you know, in the right-hand corner, I'll try and make it large here. Okay, FF10-2. That it was not good, okay? Well, if you like FF10-2, that's fine, because I just did not enjoy it. And really, it just makes it that much worse for a game that's made on a system that's lower, you know? Well, here's some of the problems with Final Fantasy X too, okay? First of all, it was just not Final Fantasy X. And I don't think it, I just don't think it was as good as FF10 in retrospect. How could I put this? I don't think the story was as good. I think having three female characters was just kind of, are you just trying to attract male gamers by putting three female characters in the game? Well, I think you guys can figure that out. Alright, and I'm gonna move on to number 5, alright? Because I gotta start quickening this up. Alright, now number 5 is Darkstone. Alright. This game is bad, guys. Darkstone, and I mean, some people have already heard all the bad reviews of Darkstone. And yes, it really is as bad as some people really say for the PlayStation. It is bad. Okay? Yes, I would even say worse than Resident Evil 1. Bad. And I didn't even put Resident Evil 1 on this list. Because I didn't really... I mean, I don't really now find Resident Evil 1 to be that great now. So, just saying. Now, Darkstone, this was a game that was a little bit like Diablo, but Diablo is a little better. Okay? But this game, the one redeeming quality I can say actually about this game is the song Darkstone in the actual game. Because that's actually what saves it from being the worst. If it didn't even have the song, it probably might be next to the worst game out of the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 category. Okay? The one thing I gotta say that is horrible about this game, and I mean absolutely horrible, is the hit points on a character. I mean, it's horrible, guys. Like, it takes you it takes like 2 increases just to get 1 hit point. It's insanity. It's no, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna just sit there fighting, 200 enemies just so I can get like 1 hit point for my character. It seems so cheap. But I mean, this is kind of probably what you should expect for a game like Darkstone, though, huh? It is a cheap game. Alright, now I gotta move on to number 4, okay? Parasite Eve 2. Yes, I did think Parasite Eve 2 was worse than Parasite Eve. Look at all the stuff you could do in Parasite Eve compared to all the stuff you can do to Parasite Eve 2. I mean, you could add stuff to your weapons in Parasite Eve. You could actually you could turn your weapons, you can turn in junk. You could actually level up. I mean, and this, you can't even level up in this game. I mean, it's like they stripped you of everything you could do in Parasite Eve, which was horrendous. This is a horrendous Squaresoft idea. Okay? And maybe that's part of the reason why Squaresoft split, because they knew they were ruining the Parasite Eve franchise. You know? Because I will never forget Parasite Eve 1, and it got number 1 in my top PlayStation video game. Well, my top PS1 video games. Okay? But how could they do this to 2? I mean, it's like, why? I mean, this is not, in my opinion, a stepping stone ahead for the Parasite Eve franchise. And I'm just sorry to say it. And that's why I think it deserves the number 4 spot. Because it's a franchise that could have been so good, but just fell to the bottom. I'm sorry to say that. But, this is how it is to me. Alright. Vandal Hearts 2. This is another franchise that could have been so great. Okay, Vandal Hearts started out, this was a turn-based strategy game where, you actually had blood whenever you stabbed somebody. Your characters leveled up, and, it was a great, Vandal Hearts 1 was a great strategy game. I'll never forget Vandal Hearts 1. because I mean, it's not just because it was one of the first games that introduced blood in a game, but, well, in a game like an RPG game, but it was because it was just so, it was so good. I mean, like, this one is just not that good, guys. In my opinion, it's not that good. It's not that great. I think it's a shame, because it really could have been, but it just wasn't. It sometimes feels like anytime you battle anything, it's just, you're just bashing things just out of bashing things, you know? I mean, like, it's almost like, it's not that there's no story to it. There is a story. It's just not my kind of game. I don't like Vandal Hearts 2. So, I mean, everybody has their Achilles heel for a video game. If you're a video gamer. And this is one of my Achilles heels, is Vandal Hearts 2. It's a shame. Try and look away from it, guys. Alright, time to move on for number 2. Now, some of you might not believe what the number 2 spot actually is. Are you ready for it? Dungeon Siege 3. You know, I look at Diablo 3, and then I look at this game, and I'm saying to myself, well, Capcom, the one thing I can say about you, at least, is that you tried. You know, the saddest truth actually is that Dungeon Siege 3, compared to Diablo 3, I just think Diablo would win it. But, I mean, the thing is that Dungeon Siege, it's just, no. It was just a no to me. I just could not handle the mechanics of Dungeon Siege 3. Maybe some of you actually out there can, but I hated Dungeon Siege 3. Yes, 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 more than Vandal Hearts 2. Alright? Now, the graphics were not that good. I mean, these graphics were like of, in my opinion, a PS2 game. You know what? I'll even say this right now. Champions of Norath on the PS2 is better than Dungeon Siege 3, in my opinion. That's just how bad Dungeon Siege 3 it actually is. And I think Champions of Norath actually offers more. But that's just my opinion, again. No, but it doesn't mean that I don't think Square Enix shouldn't make Dungeon Siege 4. I mean, good luck to them if they want to make one, you know? Good luck. Because I'd certainly like to see if they could actually create a good quality Dungeon Siege game. Besides that, you know? But this just is not for me, guys. I'm sorry. And the number 1 worst game out of the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 brand is none other than, yes, Jade Cocoon. Jade Cocoon, don't play this game. Guys, please, just, if I had enough money in this world, I would just simply give everybody $5 just for not playing this game. I mean, because this is just how bad this game really is. Let me just start out with one thing. Alright? This game is so limited that you can literally only get to level 5. I don't even know why they tried, okay? But, I mean, I guess they did. But here's the thing, guys. I mean, I would rather see Jade Cocoon 2 as Jade Cocoon 1. Rather than Jade Cocoon 1. I'd rather see Jade Cocoon 1 as, like, 0. Because this is the worst game that I've ever played, guys. Out of all PS2, PS3, PS1 games. It's the worst. The graphics were... Oh my god, the graphics were horrible, guys. I mean, but look at this art, though, on here. But it's not... Trust me, it's not good, guys. This is not a good game for you guys. Oh my god. I wouldn't play... If you want to play Jade Cocoon on your PS1, you can play Jade Cocoon all you want. But I would rather... I mean, and I don't even really like Jade Cocoon 2 all that much, but I like it a lot better than Jade Cocoon 1. I mean, it's a stepping stone in the right direction for them. This is just... yeah. Alright, guys, so, I mean, I think that's good enough for... Because I know I didn't do any of the games that I actually hate, because I've been kind of lacking in that area. But, I mean, like I said, if you're a gamer, you might be a gamer that just does not like certain games. And let's be honest, you don't. Okay? And to give you guys a heads up, too, there is actually another game I'd like to mention here that I'm not going to do a video on. Just real quick. And I want you guys to be very wary of this one for the GBA. Okay? For the Game Boy Advance, this one is pretty bad. It's Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I would never play that game. And there really are multiple reasons why. But I'm going to give you one main reason why right now. Even though I know this is a PlayStation 1 and 2 and 3 video, I just wanted to talk about this because it's been on my mind for some time, and I wanted to release it now. Okay? I'm sorry for being a little off topic here for the GBA, but you know what? Because I'm so upset about these games being so bad, I'm going to tell you about this. I remember going into a battle in FF Tactics Advance, okay? And I can't remember exactly how it was, but to my extent it was like, don't use attacks. Okay, so if you don't have, I mean, it was something to that effect. But, I mean, this was like the law or the rule or something like that. And it was like, you only had an attacker, okay? So you're telling me I can't use attacks in the battle? I mean, it was something to this effect, and it just didn't make any sense at all to me. Or you could only do this, or only use magic. Well, I only have one character that can use magic, okay? So, this is lame, okay? I'm just saying, I mean, these kinds of games are pretty lame, guys. And I'm not going to be doing a video on the worst GBA games, so that's why I just want to give you a heads up on that, you know? So if you guys have any words you want to say about this video, or about games that you don't like on the PlayStation 1, 2, or 3, or the GBA, which is fine, because I mentioned that, you certainly can do so. And I thank you guys for listening to this video. Jade Cocoon, I would like to flush you down the toilet or use you as a cup coaster. Alright, see you guys.